All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever been at your workbench, deep in a project, and just wished you had, I don't know, a second brain? Well, today we're going to talk about something pretty close to that. It's a smart assistant that's been designed specifically to help you manage your scale modeling projects and, finally keep all that crucial info in one single place.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're deep into a really complex kit. The instructions, they're basically a mess of your own scribbled notes. You've got those little sticky notes with paint recipes peeling off the desk, and, oh yeah, you're endlessly scrolling through your phone trying to find that one photo that shows how you put that subassembly together. It's chaos.
So you're sitting there, racking your brain, trying to remember that perfect paint mix you used for that cockpit interior. What was it, 3 months ago? Or you're just praying you don't make the same mistake with the decals that you did on your last build. The problem is, all that information, all that experience, it's scattered everywhere, and it's never, ever there when you actually need it.
But here's the thing, and this is really important. This isn't a knock on your building skills, not at all. A serious model is a serious project, and just like any project, it gets a whole lot better with good management. The real challenge, honestly, isn't just gluing the parts together. It's managing all the information that comes with the build.
So what if you could change all that? I mean, what if you had an AI assistant right there with you at the bench? And not just any AI, one that actually understands what a subassembly is, what weathering stages are, and yeah, even knows the difference between Tamiya and Vallejo paints. Imagine an assistant built from the ground up, just for us modelers. Okay, so this assistant is built on something called the map approach. Now don't worry, we're not going deep into the theory here. The main thing you need to know is that this isn't just some random chatbot. It's a structured system. Modular just means it has different specialists, kind of like a planning expert and a paint expert that it can call on. And accountable, that just means you can ask it, hey, why are you suggesting that? And it'll actually explain its thinking. Pretty cool.
And that, right there, brings us to Map for Modeler. The best way to think about it? It's like a smart workbench that lives right inside your chat. It basically transforms a regular AI chat into a specialized project manager just for your model kits.
So how does all this magic actually work? Well, believe it or not, it's super simple. The whole thing runs inside what's called a ChatGPT project. Think of it like a dedicated private workspace for your build. All you do is upload a few small files, and that's it. You're good to go. From that moment on, it remembers everything about your project. The kit, the plan, every single decision you make.
Now, let's be super clear about something. Its job is to help you plan, track, and learn. It is not going to build the kit for you. It's not gluing any parts, it's not doing the airbrushing, and it's definitely not taking away the fun of building. It's a tool, plain and simple, designed to make your process even better.
All right, so let's get practical. Let's walk through what it's actually like to use MAFE for Modeler, from the moment you crack open a new box to a finished project.
Getting started is, well, it's ridiculously simple. I'm serious. There's absolutely no coding, no complicated setup. You create a project, you upload the files, and then you type one simple command. That is literally all it takes.
And here's that command. You just type install MAP for Modeler. And as soon as you do, the system kind of wakes up and starts a friendly chat. It'll ask you some basic stuff, your language, what paint brands you use, your skill level, and of course, what kit you're about to tackle. Okay, once you're all set up, the first thing you'll probably use is what's called the planning node. Its whole job is to help you build a solid roadmap for your project before you even cut a single piece of plastic. What this does is help you formalize what a lot of expert modelers already do in their heads. The assistant will work with you to break the kit down into logical chunks, the cockpit, the engine, the fuselage. It helps you think through the order of operations, when to paint versus when to glue. And it's smart enough to flag potential traps, like reminding you, hey, you probably want to paint the inside of that jet intake before you glue the whole thing together. We've all been there.
All right, let's talk about one of the biggest headaches in any build, paint. This is where the color and paint node comes in. Think of it as your personal paint librarian.
And honestly, this is a real game changer. You can tell it, hey, the instructions call for olive drab, and it'll map that to the specific Tamiya or Vallejo bottle you actually own. But even better, let's say you mix up a custom color, maybe 70% XF58 and 30% XF2 for that perfect cockpit green. It stores that recipe for you and ties it to this specific kit. So months, even years down the road, you could just ask for it and boom, there's your recipe.
Then, as you're actually building, there's the session log.
This helps you keep a running history of your project. So after a session at the bench, you can just tell it what you did, what worked, and maybe what didn't. This is so useful for tracking your progress, but also for troubleshooting when you hit a snag, like if your decals are silvering and you need to figure out why.
And this brings us to what might be the most powerful part, the learning loop. When you finish a build, the debrief node helps you kind of digest the whole experience. What new technique worked out great? Which paint mix was just perfect? What would you do differently? It captures all these golden nuggets of wisdom, so the experience you just gained actually gets carried over to your next project. So you might be thinking, okay, but how is this any different than just asking a generic AI for tips? Well, here's the key difference. A standard chatbot gives you a single answer, and then, poof, it forgets everything. Total amnesia. MAFP for Modeler has project memory. It knows you're building a 148 Spitfire, it remembers your plan, your paints, and every little problem you've already solved.
One of the coolest things about this is that it's designed to be useful for literally everyone. Whether you're building your very first kit or your 100th, it just adapts to you. So let's break that down. If you're a beginner, it gives you a clear structure, which makes the whole hobby way less scary. If you're an intermediate modeler, it helps you keep those bigger, more complex projects from turning into a total mess. And if you're an advanced builder, it's like having an external brain. It handles the project management grunt work, so you can pour all your energy into the craft itself.
So, if this sounds interesting to you, maybe the best part of all is just how dead simple it is to get started. Let's just quickly recap that process one more time.
Yep, here it is again, because it's worth repeating. It really is this simple. You don't have to be some kind of tech wizard. Create a project, upload the files, type one command. That's it. You can be up and running with your new assistant in like 5 minutes.
And that really gets to the heart of it. The goal here isn't to replace you, the modeler. It's to give you a partner at the workbench, a second brain, a memory bank, a project manager that frees you up to focus on what you actually love to do, building awesome models.
So I'll leave you with this question. With a tool like this, one that can help you plan better, track everything, and actually learn from every single build, what could your next project become? Are you ready to find out?